Happy New Year! Aloha, welcome to the first Energy, Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of 2021. We have a vast audience of Senator Revere and myself here, plus our friends Senator Favela and Senator Misalucha online, and we are ready to get the economy cranking. So welcome to our Wednesday, February 3rd, 3 o'clock agenda. We have 4 items on this agenda, and before I get into it, actually, I have a whole bunch of things I need to read just to make sure that we all understand the rules of engagement this afternoon. This meeting, including audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed to you on YouTube. Woo! I live with Bruno Mars and Taylor Swift on YouTube now. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislative website. And in the unlikely event we have some turbulence and we have to unleash the slides, we're going to slide into Friday for the continuation of the hearing if we have any kind of technical difficulties, which we don't anticipate. But and that would be on Friday, February 5th at 3 o'clock, just in case we have to, in room 224 and in the room that you're in as well now. And for those participating remotely, all testifier audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly after it is your turn to testify. So Tom, I see you having a drink there. Drink up right now because you're going to come up soon. And we're going to have a 2-minute limit on testifying, and that is it. We can start getting into the action. So we're going to go to our first bill on the agenda. That is Senate Bill 139 relating to transient accommodations tax. On our testifiers list, we have Craig Hirai from Budget and Finance. He has submitted testimony, actually commentary. The Mayor of Maui, Mayor Victorino, has testified with comments. Tom Yamachika from the Tax Foundation of Hawaii, and Tom is here with us. So Tom, feel free to share your comments.
Thank you, Chair. We have submitted written comments. We'll send on those, and be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Tom. We have Stephanie Donahoe from the Kohala Coast Resort Association has provided commentary, and John Okudara from the Hawaii Association of Counties has submitted testimony in opposition. And members, do you have any questions? We only have one first person to that's testifying. That's Tom Yamachika. Any members have any questions for Mr. Yamachika?
I have a question.
Sure, Senator Misalucha.
Hi, Tom. And
Hello.
I know this is not, how are you? This is not your testimony, but you are such a smart guy, so I'd like to get your insights about something that Mayor Victorino said, and he said something about how there needs to be parity. So I think we're talking about the population growth, and I thought that's fair. But in your opinion, do you have any recommendation how else we can address the issue of parity amongst the 4 communities?
That's a very good question, Senator. I know this body has been struggling with that very same question for a number of years. And you've convened task forces and gotten reports from them and rejected the reports, and all kinds of things make it a very challenging issue to tackle. Ultimately, you need to, I think, decide on a methodology, make sure everybody's on board with it. Right now, whatever methodology you decide on is not going to make a bit of difference because the governor suspended all allocations of the THE to anywhere other than general fund anyway. So
It's a moot point.
Yeah. So
right. I know, but I guess for discussion purposes. But if you, by any chance, happen to be driving and you come upon a brilliant idea, please feel free to share it with us, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Senator.
Thank you, Chair.
Sure, thanks, Bennett. Yeah, we need brilliant ideas in this place. Any other members' questions for Mr. Yamachika? Okay, thank you, Tom. And we're going to move on to our next bill, another taxing bill. This one is Senate Bill 775, and we have Eugene Tian from DBED has submitted commentary. Isaac Choi, the tax director, has submitted commentary. Huh? Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Tian. he is on with us. Dr. Tian, would you like to share your testimony? My apologies.
Yes, Chair. Did I stand on our written testimony with comments? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tian. Isaac Choi, the tax director.
Yes, Chair. Jonathan White on behalf of the Director of Tax. We'll also stand on a written testimony and be here for any questions if you have
Okay.
any. Thanks.
Sure, thank you for joining us. Craig Hirai from the Department of Budget and Finance has submitted commentary, and we have John DeFries from the Hawaii Tourism Authority. Oh, I saw him there, and there you are. Looking good today, John. Shaka, brother.
You look good. Is it my turn?
It's your turn, your moment.
Okay. HDA, first of all, welcome, Mr. Chair and Madam Vice Chair and distinguished members. HDA submitted its comments on February 3rd, and we stand by it. That submittal and await any questions from the committee.
Thank you for joining us,
Thank
Mr. DeFries. Tom Yamachika, Tax Foundation.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just kind of shocked by this bill, which would create a tax disincentive to raising our visitor count. It probably the sponsor of this bill is probably uncomfortable with having too many tourists on our shores at any one time. If that's the case, I think we would be better served by defunding tourism marketing and promotion. Why spend lots of money to produce the result that you don't want? I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Tom. And we have lead testimony from Mufi Hanneman. He is, and his association is opposed to this measure. Okay, members, would you like to ask questions of those who are on the call? Dr. Tian, Tax Director, John DeFries, and Tom Yamachika are the four we can ask questions to. I see Senator Revere would like to ask questions.
Thanks, Chair. Could I ask a question for the Tax Department? Tax. Thank you.
Yes.
If something like this were to come out at the end, and if there is a complication on implementation, what would be kind of the lead time or the lag time? So if we knew that, say, we're going to raise the TAT by 2%, how much time do you need to implement that, and do you have any thoughts on what would be an appropriate time for the people collecting the tax to make their adjustments?
Yeah, we usually will ask for a session change, like something around June or whatever. We'll ask for a January 1st date. I think that would be appropriate for this. For this, since it's going forward, it can be a year-to-year change. It would be a matter of if those numbers are going to be available, like say by June 30th, July 1st or so.
Okay, so each year the report comes in, say, January 1st, they say, we have this many visitors, okay, therefore the tax rate beginning July 1st will be something. That 6 months would be enough to adjust it?
Well, the bill right now says the rate will be adjusted January 1st.
Well, correct, but if you're building in a lead time to implement the changes, you're saying 6 months would be plenty for Tax Department?
Yeah, 6 months. So that means that on the year-to-year change, if, I guess the number is based on a DBED number, if that number was out in June or early July, that would give us that 6 months for the January change.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Question for Mr. Tian.
Sure. Go ahead.
Mr. Tian, aloha.
Aloha.
I suppose if the revenues were going up, if we determined that we're going to raise the tax by 2% going up, there probably is no hardship. But if, on the other hand, rates were going to drop, that might affect the state coffers, depending on how this is structured. Do you have any thoughts on, basically, on the general feasibility of this, raising it each year or lowering it? What's your instinct tell you?
I think we understand the intent of this bill, but this bill will change the tax base. I think the base is still on the dollar value, is still on the hotel room sales, but the change is based on the arrivals. So these are two different measures. I think that may make things a little bit
Is it the volume?
complex.
Can we get the
And,
volume up?
I think that is all I can provide. So I think in general, it makes sense. I think the intent is good to, for this, using this tax rate to control the.
Mr. Tian, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Maybe the microphone's far away from you, or I'm just, sorry, I can't, I'm having a hard time with the volume.
Oh, really? Sorry about that. How about now?
Maybe a little better. Okay, so I'm sorry, I missed what you said regarding the, so I guess just for budgeting purposes, and because a lot of times people come to you for general crystal ball reading, if money's going up or down, does that create havoc for anything?
Yeah, I think that the bill makes sense because it's trying to control the flow of visitors. Because when the visitor going up, the rate will go accordingly. But because the tax rate, the TAT rate, is based on the dollar value of sales, the hotel room sales.
Right.
But because of this bill is based on the arrival, so some businesses may feel there is a difficulty because if some businesses, their rate increase, but when they have a low sales, they may feel they pay more taxes.
Okay,
So
well,
it is
thank you.
not evenly distributed.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Sure. Members, any further questions of those who are testifying in front of us? Senator Misalucha, Favela, okay. We're going to move on to our next bill on the agenda. That is, Senate Bill 596 relating to the Hawaii Tourism Authority. And our testifiers list is someplace under my pile of papers. And we have just one person, Cheryl B., who has submitted commentary. So members, unfortunately, there's no one for us to ask questions of, so we're going to move on to our last item on the agenda. That is Senate Bill 243 regarding energy. And our first testifier is Scott Glenn. Hi, Scott.
Aloha Chair, aloha Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Good to see you all. We stand on our comments and support and available to answer.
Scott, sorry, is there any way you can get maybe closer to the microphone so we could hear you a little? It's a little bit soft here on this side. Sorry.
Yes, aloha Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity today. We stand on our comments and support and are available for any questions you might have.
Great. Thank you for joining us, Scott. Next, we have Richard Rochelo from HNEI. Rich? Okay, Rich, sorry, we cannot hear you. Let me, just one.
No,
Okay,
I'm good
yeah,
now. Okay.
there you go.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. HNI submitted testimony in support of the intent of this bill with comments, and we stand on that testimony and we'll be happy to answer questions. Thank you.
Great, thank you for joining us, Mr. Rochelo. Michael Munakata from Ulupono has submitted testimony in support. Henry Curtis from Life of the Land has submitted commentary. David Rolfe from the Automobile Association has submitted testimony in support. Robert Hubert has submitted testimony in support, and Janet Papas also in support. Members, would you like to question either Mr. Rochelo or Mr. Glenn? Questions? No? Wow, we are so efficient, just like our energy policy. We are going to go into a brief recess. Okay? He's going to do it, or I'm going to do it in my head?
Okay, Senator Wakai, the conference room has been unmuted. Are you ready to proceed on with the hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Action. We are reconvening our 3 o'clock EET hearing. And the Lawmakers have conferred. We have 4 of us on this call, and we are going to jump into Senate Bill 139. Members, this is adjusting the transient accommodations tax to be more agile, so to speak, for the counties. The bill as it stands now ties any kind of divvying up of the TAT based on population of the various counties. I would really think that it should be based on the impact of visitors to those counties. So we're going to amend the bill to take into account HSAC's testimony and base the appropriation on visitor count rather than population of the counties. Also going to require that the counties tell us how they actually spent the money. Of course, they always say, oh, the impact of tourists is great on our counties, but for the most part, they just dump the money into the general fund. I think there should be some accountability as to how did it affect your police force, lifeguards, or whoever might be touching tourists in the county. So going to require them to provide us a report on how they spent the money 20 days prior to each legislative session. And the bill also talks about having DBED do the accounting for the visitor count, and we're going to have it be done actually by HTA and based on the state data book. So those are the suggested changes to the measure. And, oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Senator Revere, can you take the votes?
Yes, sir.
And then you have a pen. Sorry, so members, we are now about to vote on Senate Bill 139, and the recommendation is to pass the measure with amendments, and I vote yes.
Okay, Committee on Energy, Economic Development, and Tourism is voting on SB 139. Chair's recommendation is passed with amendments. Chair votes aye. Senator Misalucha
Aye.
votes aye. Senator Lee?
Aye.
He votes aye. I vote aye. Senator Favela is excused. Measure adopted, Chair.
Great, thank you, members. Going on to our next bill, Senate Bill 775, relating to the transient accommodations tax. This is the Chris Lee special, which is like elastic like pants, and it can go up and down as your stomach goes up and down. No, it's not, we're not tying it to the stomach. We're going to tie this to visitor arrival. So I'm going to make a few amendments to this bill where we're going to have it, have a base TAT of 6%, and we're going to increase that percentage by 1% for every million visitors that come to the island. So if we have 10 million visitors, that TAT will go up to 10 million. If we are lucky enough to get 15 million visitors, the hotel industry is going to pay 15%. That way, I think this is a good mechanism for us to perhaps better manage tourism, and in the near term, give the hotels a break since tourism numbers are where they are today. But we're not going to allow the TAT to go below 6%. We're going to make the effective date of this bill January 1st of 2022. And on page 2, line 11, instead of the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism determining the visitor count, we're going to have HTA determine and publish the annual visitor arrivals based on their data book numbers. And, oh, okay, and one more thing. We're going to have the TAT rate apply at the time an individual books their hotel reservation. So those are the suggested amendments. Members, any discussion? If not, Senator Revere, I vote yes.
Okay, members, we're voting on SB 775. Chair's recommendation passed with amendments. Chair votes aye. Senator Misalucha?
Aye.
Senator Lee?
Aye.
I vote aye. Senator Favela is excused. Adopted, Chair.
Thank you. We're going to move on to our next agenda item. That is Senate Bill 596 relating to the Hawaii Tourism Authority. This is to make sure that we have fully confirmed members as soon as possible. So I'm going to make one slight amendment to this measure where, actually I should cite the specific section, sorry. We're on the bottom of, well, this is a quick one-page bill. So on page 1, on line 7, it cites that it's going to be subject to holdover limitations set forth in section 26-34B. that section actually allows somebody to stay for 2 regular legislative sessions. So I'm going to change the language to read that it will be, that holdover can be allowed until the next regular legislative session. So instead of allowing someone to kind of hover around for 2 years, we're going to allow them to just hang on for just 1 year before they need to be replaced and confirmed by the Senate for the Hawaii Tourism Authority. So that's the recommendation. Members, any discussion, questions? If not, Senator Revere, I vote yes.
Okay, chair votes yes on SB 596. Senator Misalucha?
Aye.
Senator Lee?
Aye.
I vote aye. Senator Favela is excused, and so passing with amendments adopted, Chair.
Thank you. This is the last bill on the agenda, Senate Bill 243, relating to renewable energy. Having discussed with the members, we have kind of come to the agreement that instead of HSE, or the Hawaii State Energy Office, doing the strategic plan, we're going to have HNEI do the strategic plan as well as the Part 2 feasibility study. We're going to extend the delivery date. Right now, the delivery date is 2022. We're going to give them an extra year, have the delivery date 2023. And because HNEI has so much money and so much brain power, we're going to delete the appropriation part of the bill since they can handle it on their own. And we also have technical, non-substantive amendments. Members, any discussion? If not, Senator Revere, I vote yes.
SB 243, passed with amendments. Chair votes aye. Senator Misalucha?
Aye.
Senator Lee?
Aye.
I vote aye. Senator Favela is excused. Measure adopted, Chair.
Fantastic. Woohoo! One down, plenty more to go. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Aloha, YouTubers. We're adjourned.